Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tassie with Tassie Eats, and today I'm doing 2.5 pounds of crawfish. So this is actually about 3 pounds of food altogether. I did put in a whole can of quail eggs in here as well. And this is actually a spicy curry crawfish that I made myself. In the description, I'll go ahead and link how you guys can make this so you can have it yourself at home. And this tends to be more on the spicy side. And if you guys have seen my video, I did one on the Thai curry noodles cup one. And it's made similar, but I don't use as much curry or coconut as the actual noodle dish. And I really wanted this to be spicy, so I added a lot of curry in here. Now, before I get started, I wanted to do my first shout out. So I actually had a girl who is requesting that I do a shout out for her, and I was like super excited. So I want to do a shout out to Kenya Price, and she only has a couple of videos out there, and definitely keep it up because she has a video of her singing Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You on there. She has a very, very good voice, and I don't do singing because, you know, like I was in choir my whole life through church and as a kid. But I am not a singer, so she was very, very good on that video. So definitely check out her channel sometimes, you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. And there is some curry broth in here, so I have a spoon. And I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to get my hands super dirty with this. Now, anybody who's never had crawfish, so some people when they eat them, all they do is they just tear the body apart from the head and the tail. And then some people, what they do is they suck this, and some people even open it to eat whatever is in there. But then a lot of people, typically, they just discard the body and they just eat the tail. So however you do it. And because this is actually a curry, I want to suck it. And if you open it, you know, like this is like the rib cage or whatnot, I discard that piece. But there is a piece by the head here that people like to chew. You can call it the brains or the mustard or whatever you want to call it. And so like for the crawfish, it's probably a little hard to see, you guys. I'm so sorry. All you do is you kind of just tear the top shell, the top part of the tail. Oh, the bottom came off first. That's okay. And then you just kind of pull on it so that it separates. And that's it. And I love quail eggs in my curry. And the first time I had crawfish, I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it, typically when people make crawfish, they do it like in a seafood boil. I have never had a seafood boil with crawfish where I liked the taste of it. So I didn't like the crawfish. I was like, this is it. This is the flavor. And then a close girlfriend of mine, she made this, the curry version. She invited me over. And it was delicious. And so since then, I always prefer my crawfish in the curry style. And like in my cooking video, you're going to find that in Minnesota, we don't have licensed fishermen who go out and get crawfish, okay? We have over 10,000 lakes here, but we're not known for having crawfish. Like fresh, you know? So, ours is always typically frozen and they're pre-seasoned and fully cooked. So in my video, it's actually already fully cooked crawfish, and all I'm really doing is boiling it so it soaks up the flavor of the curry in there. This is ginger. I loved eating ginger. Oh, but I have caught live crawfish before. And so they're considered an invasive species here in Minnesota if they appear in our lakes because they're not naturally there. But lately, we've gotten a lot of crawfish. It happened a couple years back where they started coming up here. And so, you know, like everybody was going out to the lakes. If you go by like some rocky areas, you'll find crawfish. And the first time, so I haven't gone camping because I'm a cities person. I'm a huge cities girl. And the first time I went camping again as an adult, I was like 27. Before then, the last time I went camping, it was with church. I was a little kid. Here's my spoon. Yeah, so I was like a really little kid. And so then I went camping again when I was 27. My girlfriend convinced me. She's like a super outdoorsy person. And so we went up to Grand Marais, which is close to Canada, and in northern Minnesota, and I was totally drunk. And, you know, our spot was right next to the lake, and then it was nighttime, and the crawfish came out. So I put on a headlamp. This is completely redneck, you guys, the story. I put on a headlamp, I had a bucket, and I had tongs. And I went out there and I caught myself crawfish. It was the best fishing expedition I've ever been on. And that was also the night of the scary toad. But I'll get to the scary toad. But, so I was out there using just tongs, and I noticed right away, because I've never caught crawfish before, they swim backwards. And so I was like coming at them, but I would always aim directly behind them. So I was catching them left and right. And I caught so many crawfish, and all we did was we basically boiled them in water with a little bit of Old Bay seasoning. And it was so good. It was so good and so fresh. And I've never had that here because all of ours are frozen before it comes to us. I remember my girlfriend, though, on the second night, I caught a huge one. Like, he must have been the king of crawfishes. Because I was so excited. She was drunk. And I put him in the bucket, and she was looking at the bucket, and she was like, oh, there's no water in there. So she takes the bucket and dunks it into the water. I'm screaming in the distance, like, yeah! Because I lost my king crawfish when she did that. Yeah. Okay, come on. So, the scary toad. He was really scary. I don't like frogs, so that doesn't help. But he was like super huge. He looked like a statue at first. So like we were at our station and or our camping site, and I turned around. I remember turning around, and there's a super fat frog. He's just sitting there, like really close to me, but he's looking in one direction. He won't look at me. He's just looking in one direction. And I was like so scared. I was like, oh my God. And so I walked like way around him. And then my friend was like, you know, let's go try fishing down by the dock. And where the dock is, where the boats come in, that is probably a good 1 to 2 miles away from our campsite. So we drove down there. And we're out there. We're catching more crawfish. We're having a great time. All of a sudden, I turn around. And I swear, it's the same fat toad. He's sitting there, and he's still looking in the same direction I saw him. I was getting so scared. I was like, he's chasing us. He was chasing us around the lake. I may have been drinking. But he definitely scared me. And I am afraid of them. I don't like them. An ex of mine thought it was funny while he was mowing the lawn. I was sitting by the pool with his dogs, and all of a sudden he comes up running to me, with something in his hand, and he won't show it to me, but he wants to put it in my hand. Finally, I let him put it in my hand. It was like a baby toad. I screamed, and I threw it in the air. And then he started screaming because he loves frogs. When he was younger, his mom, she totally spoiled him. She would go and buy all of these frogs that came into Minnesota from around the world. Like from Africa, anywhere that was like exotic, and he would always get frogs. And he would cry and cry if he didn't. But I do not like them. I do love eating crawfish. When I went down to New Orleans, though, I did not have any. Oh no, I had crawfish tails, where they already deshelled them all. The eggs are so good. I feel kind of bad, in case you guys really can't see me pulling it apart. Come on. But I went through this crazy phase of making this a lot. Alright, I'll just wear one glove. I'm just gonna suck it up and just wear one glove. Alright, so I went through this phase where I was making these a lot. And my brother's like, are you really gonna eat all those that I make? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Well, there is such a thing as too much. So my brother, he'll try to help me eat it, but sometimes I'll make like, because this actually comes in a really big bag. And I made about half of it only. So sometimes I'll make like the whole bag. But since I live alone now, I can't be making the whole bag. Yeah. And I'm pretty bad about leftovers, where I have a hard time going back to it. Because I really like fresh food, you know. Sometimes if you reheat it, it tastes kind of funny to me. So I don't really like to eat reheated food often. I mean, some people, they will like meal prep for 7 days. I will not eat food that's been in the fridge for 7 days. I just can't do it. And, you know, like when I would meal prep, though, I would only do it for 2 to 3 days in advance. 3 days is pushing it. On the third day, I'm looking at it like, I ain't gonna eat you, you know? So, like, I typically kind of am always cooking because I'm always wanting fresh food. But the good thing was when I lived with my brother, he would eat all my leftovers. Or else I would give them to like my boyfriends. And it's not until recently I really started to learned how to control my portions because I come from a really large family. And I'm used to cooking really huge amounts. And especially like parties, whenever I'm cooking, we're always cooking such huge amounts for a party. So my boyfriend's always like just staring with his jaw open at how much food I prepare. Because like for Hmong people, running out of food is very, very embarrassing. Like if you have a party, you can never run out of food. And it's customary that you make a lot so that all of your guests can also pack food home. You know, they spend time to come out to your party. They may have helped you cook. So that way when they go home, they don't have to cook another meal. They have food from your party. So like in my head, I'm always like still doing it. And I still like, even though like I live alone and, you know, it's just me and my boyfriend, and he does, you know, like have his mom come and have meals with us too, you know, but it's just like, I make such huge portions. This one's just stuck. Okay. But I'm learning to make smaller portions. Like my crawfish. I didn't make the whole bag. Not getting that. That was a huge one. It was really nice and spicy. And this is a spice that's like, to other people, this would probably be very, very spicy if you are not used to spicy. But this is like a tingle kind of a spice for me, where like my lips are just stinging a little. But it's not like runny nose, I need water kind of spice. If you make this in the cooking video, the curry I use, it is the hottest curry out there. So, you know, like if you want something more mild, they have the same brand. They come up with different spice levels. So you can use like the yellow or green can. They're not as spicy. I do feel though that if you use those cans, the taste, it is pretty different. I personally do not like the taste of the yellow can because it gives off a different smell and everything. But you know, it's not spicy. And like my boyfriend prefers this one, even though he can't handle spice the way I can. Like his nose is running when he eats this. Ooh, that hurt. That was like, I was breathing and it went down my windpipe. Oh, that's spicy hot. Whew. As I was saying, when my boyfriend uses this one, like his nose will run, and it's like really spicy, but he loves it because he loves the flavor profile of it. And I've made him the yellow one before, and he didn't like it. It tasted very different for him, too. Yeah, that went down my windpipe again. It doesn't hurt as much this time. It's so good, crawfish. It's like the perfect amount of meat. But the tails are actually pretty tiny. Oh, and you know, like, I started to really love crawfish with Popeyes. Kind of sad, right? But Popeyes, they were doing, their fried crawfish tails. Oh my God, it was like popcorn crawfish tails. That was so good. Me and my friend, we went all the time, and then finally one day they stopped doing it, and we've been waiting and waiting and checking up on Popeyes, but they just never did it again. They never did the promo again. Maybe it wasn't popular in Minnesota that they stopped doing it here. And if you're in an area where they have that, oh, you are lucky. And what do you guys think of this? When I went down to New Orleans, I told my girlfriend, we have to try Popeyes. It's like, it's Louisiana. And she was like, you know, we're going to New Orleans and you want to try Popeyes? And I'm like, yeah, because it's Popeyes. What if it's better down in New Orleans than it really is here in Minnesota? She refused to go. And then guess what happened? We were walking, looking for the trolley to go down to the Garden District from the French Quarter. And she had to use the bathroom. And the only way you can use the bathroom in the McDonald's there is if you buy something. So she asked me to buy something so she could use the bathroom. And I'm like, because I'm a snacker. Like, I'll have like a ton of stuff to eat, and then an hour later I'm hungry again. I want to eat again. I don't really eat like huge meals in one sitting. I'm trying though. But she was like, Tassie, can you eat again? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, we're close to Popeyes. And she's like, I need you to buy something at McDonald's so I can use the bathroom. And I was like, are you kidding me? McDonald's? I bought fries. Tastes the same as in Minnesota. I like Popeyes though. Between Popeyes and KFC, I will choose Popeyes. KFCs tend to be very salty for me, where it's kind of hard for me to eat. Popeyes, I love that homemade kind of style. And I've not had Cane's yet, but we recently just opened Cane's here in Minnesota. That's not something that we've always had. I remember Chick-fil-A when that came. Chick-fil-A is not, they're not like super big in Minnesota, even though they just opened. I mean, they gave me coupons to go and get free sandwiches. They gave me 2, where I can get 2 whole sandwiches for free. I still didn't go. Some of you might know all this though, but I don't like to eat chicken. Like, I'll eat it if I have no choice, but it's not my favorite item to eat. In order, I would always choose beef, and then it would be pork, and then chicken. I don't like turkey. During Thanksgiving, I'll eat like turkey sandwiches, but I don't like the real thing. You know, like at the state fair, we have this huge thing, you know, like the turkey leg. Everybody goes and gets the turkey leg. I'm not into that. I have gotten it before, don't get me wrong, just to try it. It doesn't do anything for me. Turkey, or during the holidays, I'll feed whatever animal is around me as much turkey as I can to get rid of it. I only like dark meat, and I fill up on the side dishes. And, you know, like, we make really heavy courses as your side dishes. Like, for a side dish once, I brought beef pot roast. Yeah, beef pot roast was my side dish. It was delicious. I completely sprayed backwards. I was afraid it was gonna hit my eyeballs. Curry in your eyeball, especially spicy curry, not a good combo. Oh, so spicy. It's super good. And it's garlicky. I'm sorry if I look messy, you guys. And a lot of my leftover crawfish that I have in my bag, I'm going to boil them in water. And I'm going to peel all of them and give them to my boyfriend's cat and dog. They love seafood. And Oscar especially. Oscar's a cat. So I'm going to give Oscar some seafood. And he'll love me. These were pretty scary the first time I had them. They just looked very, very scary and intimidating. Like, what is that? Looks like a lobster. It's not a lobster. It's not a shrimp. My camera stopped recording. I reached the 30-minute limit. Look at that one. Mm-hmm. I felt that on my forehead. So good. I haven't made this in a while too. Maybe 6 months ago I made this. That was the last time I made it. This is a big one too. I only have 2 left in here. Ginger. All right, last crawfish. All right, you guys, thanks for checking out my video.